Hi, I'm Scott Davis. Welcome to New World Birth. By accessing this presentation, you're inviting me to share this information regarding our passage through this challenging and yet very hopeful time. This is the care and feeding of a New World Age report for the Gregorian date of March 7th, 2012, and One Monkey in the Mayan Tzolkin calendar, which is the halfway point of the Tzolkin 260-day round. I'll also discuss the Virgo full moon and Mercury turns retrograde during this report period. March 7th is One Monkey, which carries the themes of new beginnings, good fortune, innocent curiosity leading to artistic expression, mischief, similar to the coyote spirit and the trickster gods of many of the native traditions, generosity, the jack of all trades, weaving the threads of time, craftsmanship, and wisdom keeping. One Monkey is the 131st day of the 260-day Tzolkin calendar, marking the beginning of the second half of the round. The calendar starts with crocodile as the primal nurturing energy for beginnings, and the second half begins with monkey as the artisan who creates something new. These are actually really arbitrary points, as many different Mayan groups celebrate different days to begin the Tzolkin round, and ultimately it is just that. It's round, like a circle, having no beginning or end. The One Monkey Tzolkin is a good 13-day period to be generous with your creativity, wisdom, curiosity, and time to help others explore new beginnings, and in doing so, discover something new in yourself. Astrologically, the One Monkey Tzolkin begins with Mars and Saturn, both retrograde, as Mercury starts to move towards a standstill, where it will then appear to move in reverse on March 12th. And when a planet is at a standstill, it's said to be at the peak of its power. So this time brings a focus on communication, travel, technology, and thought. Also, Mercurius was the trickster of Roman mythology, based on Hermes of the Greek god pantheon. So it's interesting to note that the planets are mirroring the aspects, that particular trickster aspect of the monkey Tzolkin. After all, Mercury retrogrades are notorious for miscommunication, technology problems, and issues with travel. So it's wise to get as much organized and completed prior to the Mercury retrograde cycle, as it can take more effort to get the same things done, because the apparent reverse movement of Mercury brings the need to review and redo what was initiated between the 12th and April 4th. And I've been discussing retrogrades quite a bit in recent reports, and I want to instead turn to look at a very positive alignment that peaks during this report period, but will benefit us for the entire Tzolkin, and actually we've been feeling it for pretty much the whole month of March. But here we have planets illustrating another monkey trait, which is the trait of good fortune. And what I'm referring to is the grand trine in the earth signs of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. A trine is a very favorable aspect in astrology. It represents an angle of 120 degrees, and what's occurring is we have four heavenly bodies making multiple trines to each other and ultimately forming an equilateral triangle. First, we have Jupiter in Taurus, which is exactly trine Pluto in Capricorn on March 13th. And then on the 14th, Venus merges with Jupiter, followed by Mars supporting all those planets from Virgo, which completes the grand trine later in that day. This is amazing, grounded, harmonious energy for expansion, understanding, empowerment, and ease in transformation. Savor this time, as this pleasant calm before the storm, which occurs being exact in June, with the first of many Uranus-Pluto squares. So enjoy this March period of time. Planets are going to get a little crazier coming up. Anyway, March 7th is One Monkey. That's unity experience through using creativity to begin something new, with the Virgo moon opposed by Neptune and Chiron, supported by Venus, Jupiter, and Pluto, and merged with Mars. Emotionally, the day begins with a confusing sensitivity and awareness of wounds that shifts to pleasant social interactions, a sense of well-being, and intensifies feelings, and finally just turns irritable. The 8th is Two Road, which is duality experienced through community service on the Virgo full moon, with the only the opposition of the Pisces sun being an aspect to this moon, which means there really are no distractions to this lunation's desire to find balance between our outer detail and service-oriented world and our inner idealistic vision. This full moon is about the peak of a cycle that began on the new moon on February 21st, and usually full moons bring out some form of drama. You often hear about an increase in pregnancies, arrests, and emergency room visits when people are howling at the full moon. March 9th is Three Read, which is about taking action related to the home, with the Libra moon opposed by Uranus and Mercury and challenged by Pluto. The day begins with impulsive emotions and later moves to either conflicts between feelings and reasons, or greater communication about your heart's high adventure. And finally, it brings more of a compulsive behavior, or the upside is it can be empowering for soul-searching activities. This day really is about what you choose to be conscious of. The 10th is Four Jaguar, which is stability found through being in nature, with the Libra moon merging with Saturn, which can bring feelings of isolation and loneliness. Also on that day, Venus is stimulated by Chiron, the wounded healer, which could be a good day to heal any wounds in your relationships. March 11th is 5 Eagle, which is empowerment through seeing from a higher perspective, with the moon moving into Scorpio and gaining support from Neptune and Chiron, opposed by Venus and Jupiter, harmonizing with Pluto and Mars. It's another day of shifting emotions, beginning with spiritual and healing energy, and then later moving to moods that lead to overindulgence, followed by feelings of generosity and the need for deeper connections with others, and finally the desire to just work independently of other people. The 12th is Six Wisdom, which is being in the flow through introspection, with Mercury in Aries turning retrograde. Here it comes, which slows down progress and may bring the need to rework projects that are begun during this retrograde period. The March 13th is 7 Earth, which is reflections on the gifts we receive from Gaia, our Mother Earth, with Jupiter being supported by Pluto in Earth signs of Taurus and Capricorn, which brings expansive energy to transform yourself and your community. Also the 13th, the Sagittarius moon is challenged by Neptune, Chiron, and Mars, and supported by Uranus and Mercury, has people feeling sensitive to any unhealed wounds, and then having a desire for some excitement, moving to finding balance between rational thoughts and emotions, and finally, the possibility of allowing irritability to lead to needless arguments. The 14th is 8 Flint, which is balanced through reflection, with Venus merging with Jupiter in Taurus, creating a very favorable grand trine with Mars in Virgo and Pluto in Capricorn. Harmonious and grounded energy for expansion, understanding, empowerment, and ease and transformation. March 15th is 9 Storm, which is patience through appreciating the gifts of adversity, with the moon in harmony with Saturn, Neptune, and Chiron, challenged by Uranus and Mercury, and merging with Pluto. We will have emotions shifting from reflection to sensitivity to others, to having the urge to rebel, to having the desire to express your feelings to people you're having issues with, and finally, an awareness of some moods from the deepest parts of your psyche. The 16th is 10 Sun, which is manifestation through honoring ancient wisdom, with the Capricorn moon gaining support from Jupiter and Venus in Taurus. This brings a pleasant day of social interactions. March 17th is 11 Crocodile, which is resolution through nurturing new beginnings, with the moon harmonizing with the sun, Uranus, and Mercury, and challenged by Saturn. The day begins with a sense of balance, but that can be shifted as it moves towards feeling more isolated before the moon shifts to an interest in having some new social experience. Way out of the box type of thing. Anyway, the 18th is 12 Wind. This is understanding through communication, with Mercury now merging with Uranus on this day. So this is the day where this is the second time that Mercury has merged with Uranus, and it will do so 3 times. And this brings intensified activity to our thoughts and communications. And this is going to be a day where there's going to be new information and experiences that will indicate how our path may change when these two meet again on April 22nd. March 19th is 13 Night. This is movement to the next stage through contemplating the stars, with the moon being supported by Saturn and merging with Neptune and Chiron. It brings a day of sober emotions, followed by feelings of empathy for the people in your environment. So anyway, this being the monkey Trisena and Mercury turning retrograde, I thought I'd explore the archetype of the trickster, which is a quality that is shared by both of these symbols. In mythology, the trickster is a god, goddess, woman, man, animal, or spirit that creates mischief by playing tricks or acting outside of the expected rules of their community. Sometimes these acts are deliberate to destabilize the power structure. They often seem to have a theme of a malicious act that ultimately has unintended positive results for the collective group. Tricksters can be cunning or foolish in their bending and breaking of the rules of their society. They're often considered sacred in their game playing because they raise the awareness of their culture in their often funny displays. The exploits of the coyote spirits of the southwestern Native Americans and the raven of the Pacific Northwest are great examples of the pranks that lead to the betterment of Native people, such as being the initiators of the universal theme of the fire theft. They often act the clown and will even bend their gender to fool the target of their trickery. The coyote spirit even sometimes becomes synonymous with the creator in some Native traditions. Another example of this archetype we have is Hermes in Greek mythology, who was the messenger of the gods. And if you weren't on his good side, you might not get your message, or it might be altered to mean something completely different than what was intended. In Norse mythology, there's Loki, who held the role of the trickster. The Cherokee's trickster was the rabbit. Sometimes the trickster is represented by a pair of brothers or heroes or twins who collaborate or compete to demonstrate duality of good versus evil, power versus weakness, cunning versus foolishness, intelligence versus stupidity. And in the Mayan Popol Vuh, the hero twins who are mistreated by their half-brothers trick their half-brothers into climbing a tree, where the half-brothers are transformed into monkeys, which is how the monkey day sign became connected with the trickster archetype. In African American literature, the monkey is also the trickster who outwits the lion by speaking figuratively, which is interpreted literally by the lion as a demonstration of overcoming an oppressive authority figure through the language that the king in the jungle cannot comprehend. These are stories of succeeding with wits over strength and power. The trickster comes up in many sacred rituals to remind us that the sacred comes from the unknown through upset or surprise or unexpected change. So, however you experience the trickster in your life, take some time to be in the flow with the planet by being in nature, watching the sunrise or sunset, communing with the stars, being conscious of the moment through introspection, meditation, or being with someone you love. Every single day we have is a blessing, no matter what dramas beckon to distract us. We're all here giving the performance of our lifetimes on this world stage. So take some time to observe the play as well as act your part. Remember that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. I want to thank you for checking out New World Birth. The next segment of Care and Feeding of a New World Age will be on March 20th for one seed, and we'll also discuss the equinox, which will be spring in the northern hemisphere and autumn in the southern hemisphere, the Aries new moon, and Mercury at that point during that cycle will be retrograded back into Pisces. You can check us out on Facebook or YouTube. And as always, I invite you to email me at newworldbirth@yahoo.com if you have any questions or wish to schedule a reading. The readings are starting to slow down, so I'm considering on just setting a price for readings. So for this is definitely going to be for a limited time now. That this offer on readings where you pay only what you can afford based on the value you get out of the experience. The reading I'm offering right now will look at your human design chart to help you understand how to use your individual strategy and authority in making life decisions based on your unique design. I'll also discuss the next 3 months of astrological transits and how they relate to your natal and progressed astrology charts. So if you've been thinking about taking me up on this special reading offer where you pay only what you can afford based on the value you get out of the experience, don't wait any longer. I'd like to provide you with this reading during these uncertain times, but you need to act soon. You'll need to be able to either call me in Maine in the USA or connect with Skype to receive your readings. And as my gift to you, I will email you a 20 to 30, maybe even 40-page report giving you 3 months of detailed planetary transits as they relate to your birth chart for all paid readings. As always, I am deeply, deeply blessed that you've taken your time to connect with my passion for these ancient mysteries and their application to our journey during this incarnation. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.